Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we're going to be talking about double adversaries and the rules behind double adversaries. So, getting started, why would someone want to play double adversaries? And there's probably a ton of reasons, but the main two, or the reasons I like to play them, is one, I don't have to play against max level adversaries. So, England 6, we all know England 6 can be devastating for control spirits like where is it like Shadows or River or Whirlwind. It can be very difficult because of the extra health on buildings, the extra fear it requires, and the adjacency builds. Now, when I play double adversaries, I can play a lower level England. Maybe I play only England 3. I can then combine it with another adversary. So now I can play River against England and have a pretty difficult game, but not to the point where it feels like all of my tools are completely countered based on England's 5 and 6 rules. So it allows me to play England with a spirit that usually has a bad England matchup, which I think is awesome. The second thing, or second reason, is it allows you to exceed the difficulty above the typical 10 to 11. As I stated in my previous videos, my preferred difficulty is around 10 to 12-ish. Once you go above 12, it begins to get a little crazy. Now, I think a lot of these the actual difficulty rating is a bit off, and I'm currently in the process of going through every adversary combination and giving an estimated difficulty just to give something a little bit more accurate. It's not going to be a perfect system, but it's going to be more accurate than what's written here. Okay, let's now look at the rule set. So this is a page taken out of the Jagged Earth rulebook. It's page 19. And the very first rule is creating the fear deck. It says for each terror level, use 3 fear cards plus extra cards added or subtracted by each adversary. And then it gives a little example. Let me showcase what that is. So you start with a 3-3-3 deck. And then because we're playing against Sweden 4, normally it will be a 3-4-4. So it would be a +0 here, a +1, and a +1, 3-4-4. Looking at England 5, it is a 4-5-5. So compared to a 3-3-3, it's going to be a +1, +2, and +2. So as you guys can see, you just add up the numbers. So you got 4, 6, and 6. So this will be our fear deck. This will be our terror level 1. This will be our terror level 2, and that will be our terror level 3. And as you can see, you have 4, 6, and 6. And this is if you're playing on the TTS mod, you don't have to set the fear deck. It will do that for you. But this is if you're trying to play in person. Okay, looking at the next rule, it says escalation effects. It says choose one adversary to be leading. Its escalation effect applies normally. The other adversary is supporting and applies its escalation on all stage terror level 3 or all stage 3 invader cards. So we usually have the top adversary as the leading, and then the second as the supporting. And the leading adversary escalates on stage 2s, like Mountain, and then the supporting escalates on stage 3s. Now, some adversaries, when their escalation chooses a terrain type, for instance, like Sweden or France, it says here it says if the escalation is specific to a terrain, as with these adversaries, choose one of the terrains randomly. So just flip a dice. If you're playing on the TTS mod, you can click adversary, and then there'll be a little button here that you'll be able to click, and that will randomize it for you, assuming the Sweden is in that second spot here. Okay, making the invader deck. Now this is a rule that it always trips me up, and it still does now, so I'm going to try to avoid explaining it. You guys can just pause the video here and read the rules. If you're playing with a single adversary, it's very a single adversary that modifies the deck. It's very simple. So like in this case, we set the deck like normal, and then we remove a topmost stage 1 because of Sweden, and that is it. But now if you're playing with a combination like Russia and Scotland, the deck is just a bit of a mess. Here's an example they have where it's a Russia plus a Prussia game, and it says Russia sets the deck, and then you then follow Prussia's rules to modify the deck after. Here's the rules. Best of luck trying to figure it out. Like I said, for me, it's just a pain in the butt, so I'm going to try to not explain it and do a poor job doing that. So, okay. The last two mini rules that we have to talk about is combining the Kingdom of Scotland as well as combining the French plantation colony. So, Kingdom of Scotland, if the other adversary's setup instruction would add a city to the coast other than land 2, instead add that city to an adjacent land. Now, this is only when you're playing, well, currently, it's only when you're playing Scotland plus England, because England is going to start with that city on land D1. If you're playing in Scotland and England, your board is going to look like this, and in which case you have to move your D1 city to an adjacent land. It doesn't have to be inland. Oh no, it does have to be an inland. So it's an adjacent inland land, and you have to do it. So you can't just choose to leave your city here. It must be moved during setup. And that's only for Scotland and England at the time of making this video. The next thing is for combining the French colony, and it says if you're playing with France 2 or higher, you increase the pool of towns available by 1 per player for each level of the other adversary. So if this was, let's just say this is France 4 instead of Sweden and England 5, I'm going to get the normal 7 towns for France, and then because we're playing level 5 England, I actually get 5 extra towns, and that 5 extra towns will be per player, so my total town count will be 12 towns for this combination. Now, this is one of the rules that will trip people up. If you're not playing against France 2, if you're playing against France 1 or France 0, you don't get the extra towns, and that can actually, like France 1 games, we say that these are harder than level 6 games. A lot of times they are. And the reason is because you don't get that town count. So imagine if you're playing England 6 and France 1, and now you have to play England 6, but you're only limited to 7 towns. As you can imagine, that sounds devastating. And I'm probably exaggerating to a degree. It's probably not as hard all the time compared to 6-6s, but my guess is the difficulty would be a lot higher than what it's going to show over here. And that's just going back to the example of this difficulty rating is not that accurate. And let me show what I'm talking about. Okay, I've loaded a game. Let's do France 1, and we'll do England 6. There we go. And this is saying it's difficulty 12.5. It's probably around 14, 15, just because the town limit is going to kill a lot of players. It's going to be very difficult to stay underneath that 7 towns max. Just because of the extra builds. So yeah, France 1 games are devastating. So if you're playing with France, play with that France 2. I think if you're playing with France 2 or higher, France makes the adversary easier, or the adversary combination easier below 2, and it makes it tougher. Overall, I really enjoy playing double adversary games. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep doing them for the channel. I might do them maybe once a month. I was pushing out a lot of those videos earlier, and it didn't seem like everyone was that interested into them. In addition, it probably made games a little bit more challenging to follow. But I'm going to be creating more content, written content for players, so hopefully that can get more players into playing double adversaries. If you like this video, like, subscribe for more content. I will see you guys in the next video.